I change your bum life. You fight me, it's a celebration.
I would beat you.
When you sign to fight me, it's a celebration. You ring back home, you ring your wife. Baby, we done it. We're rich, baby. Conor McGregor made us rich. Break out the red panties. We're rich, baby.
Yo, 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 welcome back to the fifth round. As always, your boy, Steven Moustaris. And man, I'm talking UFC 275 right now. Kind of just broke down Jake Matthews and how I thought he looked amazing. And then just kind of talked about, just the aftermath of Zhang Weili knocking out Joanna. How I think, Zhang's probably going to go on and probably handle Carlos Esparza pretty easily. And how I think Joanna probably should give it another chance. And I think it might have been an emotional decision. But this leads me so perfectly into the co-main event. And for me, easily, and probably for most people, probably the most shocking moment of UFC 275 was just the matchup between Valentina Shevchenko and Taila Santos. I'm not breaking news here or anything. That fight was way closer than I expected. I was sitting here talking about how I think Valentina's probably going to win within 2, if not 1, if she was really hungry enough. And, I'm not going to, break down moments too much, but I definitely think Valentina got lucky. During the fight, we're sitting there watching the first round. She goes get a takedown, then absolutely just gets reversed. And it was a little back and forth, but still, I thought Santos won first round. Second round, I thought Valentina was looking good. But every time, it got to those points where we see Valentina lock up and, the body lock, and then she takes the girls down, and then she just dominates them. Like Jessica Andrade, Jessica Ai, all these girls you could possibly think of. She's become so great in her grappling. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, it was really shocking to see Taila Santos not only hang with her, but definitely out-scrambled her until that 5th round. But, I'm sitting there the entire fight, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? This is probably the only time we haven't seen Valentina look like Valentina ever. It's it's kind of like the John Jones, a couple fights he had there against Dominic Reyes and, Santos, and then, we see it with everybody. I mean, everybody's had their shot. Amanda Nunes has had her shot. Rose has had her time. Or, all of our dominant champions have had those times. Anderson Silva, we can name them GSP. You go on for days, literally for days. They all have that performance where they might just, they kind of fall short, maybe just be a little flat that night. It's a performance-based sport, so, you're not always going to come out 100%. So, I'm sitting there watching the fight, and I'm like, man, no way in a calendar year are we about to watch the current 3 GOATs of the women's MMA and UFC lose. I was like, we saw Amanda Nunes lose. We just saw Rose lose. Luckily, Rose didn't lose that bad. She didn't get finished or nothing. But then I'm sitting there when the judges are about to call it and pull their decision out Saturday night. I'm like, Valentina Shevchenko probably just lost that fight. I'm a huge Valentina fan. She's probably my favorite women's fighter. Yeah, usually my favorite women's fighter. I mean, I got my crushes out there Alexa Grasso and Amanda Hebos. Those are my women. I won't lie to you, I love them girls. But when it comes to performance and everything, Valentina Shevchenko is my girl. And yeah, man, I was shocked. I'm still sitting here. I think Taila Santos won that fight. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought she won 1, 2. Probably 4. It's tough. It's whatever you guys want to. We can go back and forth all day, but it's one of those ones as well that I'm kind of happy that Valentina didn't lose the belt, because even though Taila Santos did look good and very unfortunate headbutt that blew up her eye, I think I saw she broke her orbital bone and probably maybe had swung the judges a little bit just with the visual of oh shit, this girl's got real bad a fucking blown up eye right now. So I am still a believer that I don't like seeing belts get swapped like that on decisions, especially close decisions. I'd like to see it go out kind of like what Yuri did, or how Nunes lost, or and if it is going to be a decision, kind of I'd rather see it like the Rafael Dos Anjos versus Pettis fight, or the Kamaru Usman when he took it away from Woodley fight, where it's just so dominant you can't say anything about it. So it was a really, really contradicting moment for me in my MMA beliefs and fandom, and all that, because I was sitting there just kind of, I think everybody in the world, especially in the division, man, I think a lot of girls were like, oh, okay, I think I'm not afraid to fight Valentina now. Like, but also, it takes two to tango, so Taila Santos, her stock rises crazy. I kind of would have liked to see her, for her own rematch sake, I kind of wish I would have got to see her maybe go a little harder in the paint in that post fight. Maybe talk about like, hey, no, like I just took you to the brink. I probably won. Like, you know, do some shit where you can maybe stir it up a little bit, get that drama going, and you could probably get a for sure rematch. But I don't know if she'll get the rematch now because Valentina's just been winning and winning. It's kind of like the John Jones scenario. Like, I don't want to say she got bored, but she has been dominating people so much, and as soon as one night doesn't go your way, but still, like, there, I mean, she had her back a couple of times. Taila Santos had her back a couple of times there where I was sitting there like, oh man, she might choke her out. But other than that, there really was no threat of Valentina getting finished in that fight. So it's not like Valentina got outstruck or anything. Actually, she was throwing, I think, double what Taylor fought, but it was just the grappling that was just so weird. And if that was just like, honestly, if that was Valentina's sister, Shevchenko, fighting Taila Santos, I think we'd be looking at it way different. I think it would have been a way closer fight than we thought. But it's the fact that Valentina is just so dominant and she's been so good recently that it didn't look like her. So a lot of people probably thought Taila Santos won. But, you know, my heart does go out to Taila Santos because I couldn't imagine being in that position. Kind of like a Rocky scenario where it's like, man, nobody counted me in here. Everybody's counting me out. Let me shock the world here. Let me take Apollo Creed to the max, to the brink of what he can handle, which is exactly what she did. And her stock's going up so crazy. I know she lost the fight technically, but there's no losing on her side right now. You know, negotiations, all these things. Like, she's kind of like the new Alexander Gustafsson. If it's, to be fair, it's like, hey, you just put on a fucking war with that god of a fighter like Valentina Shevchenko. Like, you're in good hands right now. So yeah, I'm the number one Valentina fan, or at least one of them. And I even thought Taila Santos won that fight. I won't even lie to you. Like I said though too, it's contradicting because I don't believe sometimes that these fighters deserve to win the belt from the champion on these like close fights. But I would love to see a rematch or some more draws and stuff. So I won't call it a robbery because you could make a decision, or you could make the opinion of 2-4-5 go to Valentina, which I wouldn't doubt that either. But I was a little shocked in round 5 when Valentina seemed to think that she won and just being super comfortable with just laying on her. She was doing damage and stuff, don't get me wrong, but she was still like just not really looking for the finish, more so just like kind of controlling her. So if we do see that fight again, I would not be shocked at Valentina taking it a lot more serious. And kind of like I just said, John Jones, Gustafsson too, where it's like for all those years, people are saying how Gus maybe beat John Jones, and John Jones says, nah, hold my beer. This dude's not even going to land a single punch on me. I'm going to block one leg kick on him, stuff him up, and I'm going to beat the shit out of him for 3 rounds, which is exactly what he did. Finished him and everything. So I could probably see Valentina doing that, but still, maybe not the greatest fight ever, but it was just the shock value was really high. So shouts out to Taila Santos. Shouts out to Alexander. Shouts out to Valentina Shevchenko. Doing your thing out there, still retaining, and I can't wait to see what's next for both of these ladies. Stock rises for sure for Taila. Shevchenko finally has that one fight in her where it's like, hey, it's not always firing on all cylinders. So can't wait to see what the UFC does with it. I'm gonna be sitting there watching it. You also kind of feel bad for Valentina because she wanted that Amanda Nunes fight so bad, and Nunes lost, and now it's like, who do we go to? Because you could have seen, I know Rose and Valentina are teammates and everything, but you could have maybe seen that if they both could have won. But it's now all 3 of them are stuck in their division. I don't see a crossfight, coming in at all. So it's gonna be very fun. But hey, this has been the 5th round. As always, your boy Steven Moustaris, and let's go, baby.